A 72-year-old woman from Ohio reheated the same dinner she'd eaten for decades. Within hours, her hands were swollen, her knees were inflamed, and doctors couldn't explain why. Turns out a common food, when microwaved, can release up to 300% more toxins that inflame aging joints. And yet, millions of seniors are doing it every single night without even knowing. Could you be one of them? She thought it was just arthritis flaring up again. But when her fingers ballooned and her knees burned after a simple microwave dinner, something didn't feel right. What did she reheat? Mashed potatoes. Sounds innocent, right? Wrong. What many seniors don't realize is that reheated potatoes, especially when stored improperly, can become a silent health threat. You see, when cooked potatoes are left to cool at room temperature and later reheated, especially in the microwave, they can foster a bacteria called Clostridium botulinum and Bacillus cereus. These aren't just hard-to-pronounce names. They're toxic-producing microbes that thrive in starchy, cooked foods like potatoes. And when these toxins enter your body, they don't just upset your stomach. They spark inflammation that targets weak joints. That's right. The same inflammation that swells your knuckles, stiffens your knees, and makes mornings harder than they used to be. Here's the catch. Most seniors don't even know it's happening. Microwaving leftover mashed potatoes the next day might seem harmless. But the problem starts the night before. If those potatoes weren't stored properly, cooled quickly and refrigerated within 2 hours, the bacteria start multiplying. And reheating doesn't always kill them, especially not in the microwave, where heat distribution is uneven. You might think the center is hot, but parts of the food can remain in that bacteria-loving danger zone. And guess where those toxins go? Straight into your digestive tract, bloodstream, and ultimately, your joints. Some doctors are now warning that seniors with arthritis, gout, or chronic joint pain might be unintentionally triggering flare-ups just by reheating certain starches like potatoes and rice. It gets even worse. In a joint study from the UK's Food Standards Agency and several European food safety boards, researchers found that levels of acrylamide, a potential carcinogen and inflammatory compound, skyrocketed when starchy foods like potatoes were reheated at high temperatures. In some tests, those levels surged over 300% compared to fresh-cooked versions. Now imagine doing this night after night, unknowingly feeding your body inflammatory toxins, all in the name of convenience. But don't worry, it's not about giving up potatoes forever. You just need to know the safe way to store, reheat, and eat them. We'll get to that in a minute. Because first, there's one more sneaky dinner item that's even worse than potatoes when it comes to reheating. And most seniors eat it almost every week. It's one of the most common dinners in America, and one of the most commonly reheated. Chicken. It's lean, it's packed with protein, and when it's left over from last night, it seems like a perfect no-fuss meal. But for seniors, reheating chicken the wrong way could spell disaster for your joints, your digestion, and even your immune system. Why? It all comes down to how the proteins in chicken change structure when cooled and then reheated, especially if you're using the microwave or pan-frying it on high heat. When chicken is reheated past 165 degrees Fahrenheit, those proteins become tough, dense, and harder to digest. For younger people with robust digestive systems, that might not be a big deal. But for seniors with slower metabolism, reduced stomach acid, or gut imbalances, it becomes a serious problem. Improperly digested proteins don't just go away, they can trigger inflammatory responses, especially in already sensitive systems. And where does that inflammation often show up first? Your joints. In fact, a report from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition explains that reheated poultry proteins, when improperly broken down, can contribute to systemic inflammation, particularly in individuals with pre-existing autoimmune or inflammatory conditions. That includes osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and even fibromyalgia, conditions common in seniors. But it's not just the protein. If you've ever stored cooked chicken in the fridge for a few days, thinking it's fine, think again. Chicken spoils faster than you realize. Even when it looks and smells okay, harmful bacteria like Campylobacter or Salmonella can start to multiply, especially if the meat wasn't cooled quickly or kept below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Reheating it doesn't guarantee safety either. Just like with potatoes, microwaves heat unevenly, often leaving cold spots where bacteria can survive, and toxins can remain. Here's something most people never consider. Reheating chicken in the microwave with gravy, sauce, or broth can trap moisture in a way that prevents full heating, creating a perfect storm of bacteria, poor digestion, and inflammation. All of it ends up putting pressure on your joints and burdening your immune system. So, what's the takeaway? It's not that chicken is bad, it's that reheated chicken, when not handled properly, becomes a hidden threat. You can still enjoy it safely, and I'll show you how. But first, there's one more dinner item that almost every senior has in their fridge right now. And when this one's reheated, it doesn't just attack your joints. It slows your brain, too. And chances are you've been eating it your entire adult life without knowing what it really does when it hits the microwave. It's cheap, filling, and a staple in almost every household, especially for seniors living alone or cooking in bulk. But here's something hardly anyone talks about. Reheating rice can be dangerous, not just for your joints, but for your brain. How? Let's start with the basics. Cooked rice, like potatoes, is a starchy carbohydrate, which makes it the perfect breeding ground for a toxin-producing bacteria called Bacillus cereus. This nasty little microbe isn't always killed during reheating, especially in the microwave, and can release toxins that cause digestive distress, systemic inflammation, and even fatigue or brain fog. And get this, rice doesn't even need to smell or look bad to be dangerous. In fact, Bacillus cereus can survive the initial cooking process. If rice is left out too long or isn't cooled and stored correctly, the spores start multiplying quickly. By the time you toss it back in the microwave the next day, you're not just reheating food, you're possibly reactivating a toxic time bomb. So what does this have to do with joints and brain health? First, when these toxins enter your body, they don't just stay in your gut. They can trigger an immune response that causes inflammation to spread throughout the body, including the delicate tissue around joints. Seniors with pre-existing joint pain may notice they feel stiffer or more inflamed the morning after eating reheated rice, especially if they're dealing with arthritis or autoimmune issues. But here's where it gets even more concerning. Some research out of Japan and the Netherlands suggests that reheated starchy foods like rice may contribute to something called post-meal sluggishness, a combination of brain fog, memory lapses, and energy crashes caused by unstable blood sugar and inflammatory compounds. And seniors are especially vulnerable. Why? As we age, our brain becomes more sensitive to toxins, blood sugar swings, and inflammatory triggers. Even something as harmless as leftover rice can make you feel mentally foggy, exhausted, or even mildly depressed, all without realizing that your dinner plate was to blame. And let's be honest, most seniors aren't eating sushi rice. They're reheating yesterday's white rice, maybe with some sauce or chicken mixed in, popping it into the microwave and calling it a meal. But if it wasn't cooled quickly and stored properly within 2 hours of cooking, or if it's older than 1 day, the risks increase dramatically. The good news? There's a simple rice reheating rule that can keep your meals safe, your joints calm, and your mind clear. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, there's one last habit that makes all of this worse, and it has nothing to do with food. It's something many seniors do every night without thinking, and it unknowingly amplifies the damage from these reheated meals. You've finished dinner, maybe some leftover chicken, a bowl of reheated rice, even a side of mashed potatoes. You clean up, settle into your recliner, and turn on the TV. It's a routine that feels comforting, even harmless. But here's what's happening behind the scenes. That combination of reheated starches and proteins may have just flooded your body with low-level toxins, the kind that spark inflammation in your joints and cloudiness in your brain. And what do most seniors do next? Nothing. Literally. We sit. And that right there is the dangerous part. Remaining sedentary immediately after a reheated meal can supercharge the impact of foodborne toxins. Instead of helping your body process, detoxify, and circulate what you just ate, inactivity slows everything down. Digestion, blood flow, even lymphatic drainage. When you're younger, your metabolism can still get away with it. But as we age, the body's ability to filter toxins, stabilize blood sugar, and flush inflammation weakens. So what might have been a minor inflammatory response in your 30s or 40s now lingers longer, spreads further, and causes more pain, more stiffness, and more mental fatigue. Seniors who sit or recline after dinner may even experience nocturnal joint swelling, waking up in the middle of the night with stiff knees, aching fingers, or swollen ankles. They often blame it on arthritis, or aging, or the weather, without realizing it's a perfect storm of reheated meals plus inactivity that's fueling the problem. But that's not all. Evening stillness, combined with heavy reheated starches, can also delay digestion and lead to gastrointestinal fermentation, a fancy term for what happens when food sits undigested in the gut too long. The result? Gas, bloating, toxins reabsorbing into the bloodstream, and yes, more joint inflammation. There's even emerging research suggesting that post-meal inactivity, particularly after carb-heavy reheated meals, may increase the risk of mild cognitive impairment, MCI, in adults over 65. Why? Because glucose management and inflammation go hand in hand with brain health. And seniors who don't move after dinner often see more blood sugar volatility and cognitive sluggishness over time. So what's the fix? You don't need to run laps or do yoga. Just a simple 5 to 10 minute walk after dinner, even a stroll around your living room, can kickstart digestion, support toxin clearance, and dramatically reduce the inflammation caused by poorly reheated meals. It's small, it's simple, and it works. And here's the best part. In the next section, I'll show you a 1-minute evening trick that combines movement, breath, and posture to protect your joints, sharpen your mind, and help your body neutralize those toxins before they spread. Think of it as a nightly reset button for your entire system. If there were a pill that could reduce inflammation, support digestion, improve blood flow, and help your body fight back after a toxic meal, you'd probably take it, right? Well, what if I told you there's a natural version, and it only takes 1 minute? Doctors and physical therapists who work with seniors are now recommending a simple evening technique that combines gentle movement, deep breathing, and circulation activation. And when done right after dinner, it acts like a reset button, helping your body push out the lingering toxins from reheated meals and calm the inflammatory response that attacks joints and fogs up the brain. Here's how it works. First, stand upright, or sit on the edge of your bed if you can't stand, and place both feet flat on the floor. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you exhale slowly through your mouth, begin tapping gently on your chest and arms using your fingertips. This simple motion stimulates your lymphatic system, the body's built-in detox pathway. Next, bring your hands to your belly and gently massage in a clockwise circle. This encourages your digestive system to keep moving, helping prevent fermentation, bloating, and the absorption of toxins from undigested reheated food. Now take 3 more slow, deep breaths, inhaling through your nose for a count of 4, holding for a count of 4, and exhaling through your mouth for a count of 6. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode, which promotes inflammation control, deeper sleep, and better overnight repair of tissues, including your joints. Finally, stand up if you can, and for just 30 seconds, do a slow, controlled march in place, lifting your knees gently, swinging your arms, and staying relaxed. This mini movement boosts blood flow, supports the liver and kidneys in detoxifying your system, and helps escort waste products out of your body. The entire routine takes just 60 seconds. No special equipment, no strain. But over time, this simple ritual can become one of the most powerful tools seniors have for protecting themselves against the silent dangers of poorly reheated meals. In fact, many seniors who adopt this practice report less overnight joint stiffness, improved digestion and regularity, sharper thinking in the mornings, more restful, uninterrupted sleep. And when combined with proper reheating techniques, which we'll cover next, it forms the foundation of what some nutritionists are calling the senior anti-toxin protocol. Because reheating food isn't the enemy, doing it wrong is. In the next section, we'll walk through the senior-safe reheat method, a step-by-step system to store, warm, and serve your favorite meals without letting hidden toxins sneak in and steal your energy, mobility, or mental clarity. Let's set the record straight. Reheating food isn't dangerous when it's done right. In fact, for busy seniors, leftovers are often a lifesaver. But without the proper steps, even a harmless-looking meal can become a silent saboteur of joint health, digestion, and mental clarity. So how do you fix it? It all starts with how you store your food. The moment your meal is done, start a timer. Cooked foods, especially rice, potatoes, chicken, and anything saucy, need to be cooled and refrigerated within 2 hours. Leaving them out longer lets bacteria like Bacillus cereus and Clostridium perfringens grow rapidly. And once they release toxins, no amount of reheating can get rid of them. Next, use shallow glass containers for storage, not deep plastic ones. This helps the food cool faster and evenly. And skip the foil wrapping. It traps heat and delays cooling, increasing risk. Glass also doesn't leach chemicals into your food when reheated, unlike some lower quality plastics. When it comes time to reheat, avoid the microwave when you can, especially for meats and starchy carbs. Instead, use the stovetop or oven, where you can control the heat and ensure everything warms evenly to at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit, the temperature needed to destroy most harmful bacteria. If you must use a microwave, do this. Place the food in a glass bowl. Add a splash of water or broth to the dish to keep it moist. Cover with a microwave-safe lid, not plastic wrap, and stir or rotate halfway through. This reduces cold spots where bacteria love to hide. As for rice and potatoes, the 2 biggest offenders, they should never be reheated more than once. Each reheat lowers the quality and raises the toxin risk. A good rule of thumb? Reheat it once, eat it all, and don't store the leftovers again. Another tip? Don't mix old and new. Avoid reheating yesterday's chicken with today's freshly cooked vegetables in the same pan. The heat settings that are safe for veggies won't always neutralize bacteria and proteins. And remember, your body's ability to detox, digest, and heal slows with age. So even small mistakes in the kitchen can lead to bloating, stiffness, or mental sluggishness that seem to come out of nowhere. But once you start following the senior safe reheat method, your leftovers can finally work for you, not against you. No more waking up with stiff fingers. No more afternoon brain fog. No more guessing why your joints ache after a normal dinner. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing the stiffness is gone. Your knees don't creak when you get out of bed. Your hands feel lighter, more mobile. Your brain? Clear, focused, energized. Like your body isn't fighting you anymore. That's not a fantasy. It's exactly what's happened for hundreds of seniors who followed what some are now calling the 24-hour joint rescue plan. And it begins with one simple decision. Stop reheating your food the old way. Because here's the truth most seniors never hear. It's not just age that's making you feel older. It's what you're doing after 5 p.m. Reheating foods in toxic ways, sitting for hours after meals, and letting inflammation quietly take over your body, day after day. But you can turn that around, fast. Tonight you start by ditching the microwave for your leftovers. Reheat your dinner properly, slowly, thoroughly, with moisture, using the senior-safe reheat method. Give your body food it recognizes, food it can process cleanly. After dinner, instead of sinking into the couch, you do the 60-second flush ritual. You stand, you breathe, you move. Just enough to wake up your body's natural detox systems and calm the fire in your joints. And right before bed, a warm cup of turmeric and ginger tea, known for soothing inflammation and helping your liver process out the junk. You fall asleep lighter, clearer, more at peace. Then tomorrow morning, for the first time in weeks, maybe months, you get out of bed and think, wait a second, I feel different. You move without wincing. You think without fog. You don't need to reach for the pain meds or rub your knees before walking, because overnight, your body started healing instead of inflaming. That's the 24-hour turnaround. And all it took was changing how you treat your leftovers and how you treat your body after dinner. Most seniors go their whole lives without knowing this. They blame the pain on aging, the fog on stress, the fatigue on bad luck. But now you know better. And once you know, you can't unknow. So here's the question you'll ask yourself at your next dinner. Is this meal going to heal me or hurt me? Because the answer could decide how your body feels not just tomorrow, but for the rest of your life.